So I've put about over 1,000 kilometers on the engine now, probably like 1,500 kilometers or so. It's sitting at 405, so I've done that and another 1,000. So yeah, about 1,500 kilometers on it now. And got to say, the engine's running real well. So let's see if I can. Yeah, so the engine's running real well. The air-fuel ratios look pretty good. Now, problem with these Hiluxes is that with the stock ECU, they have trouble, or it feels like they have lag before they go into open loop. So what that means is you sit on like a 14.5 to 1 ratio while you're at full throttle for a bit. And then after about a few seconds of wide open throttle, or when you get up to about 5,000 RPM, your air fuel ratios will go down to, mine are at 11 now. They were about like 13 before I put the fuel pump in, but I have got the rising rate fuel pressure reg. And so with all that, once it kicks down to 11, the whole car just like lurches back and you feel the power kick into your ass, which is pretty good. But yeah, apart from that, it runs quite well just with the standard ECU. Goes pretty well. I think I've gapped stock Subarus before, stock turbo Subarus, which is pretty funny. You get a lot of weird looks. Yeah, the only thing that I'm kind of depressed about is I did pull out the air conditioning, did mention that, and we've just started having our first 42 degree days here in WA, and yeah, really wanting to die in this car. It has got the little quarter windows, which is quite nice, but apart from that, it's kind of yuck. But yeah, that's as far as the Hilux build goes. There's not a lot going wrong with it. It is weeping a bit of oil out of the timing chain cover. Don't know if you can see down there. So you can see I've got where the original bracket for the air conditioning condenser is. That bracket spaces out the bolts at the front here, and so when I've taken that bracket off, the bolt is too long, so I've had to space it with a nut I bought from Bunnings, our hardware store. But I'm also missing one more right now, so it's weeping a little bit of oil. It's nothing major, but it should be okay. So the other thing is at idle, it's got a bit of blow-by. Now, the reason for that is I've gapped the rings to, I think it was either 16 or 18 thousandths for the top compression ring, and then 20 thousandths for the bottom ring. So that is a little bit loose, but the reasoning for that is because it's a boosted application, it's going to see a good deal more heat. And in turn, when you see heat, things are going to expand. And if your rings are too close together and you see a lot of heat, ends will touch and you'll start scratching the shit out of your bores. But also another reason for that is when I had the first, when I first filled up the fuel tank in this for the first set of kilometers on it, I mixed in 2-stroke oil with my fuel. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good habit to do if you've got an older engine. It lubricates the piston rings a bit and just keeps everything going nice. You do it about 2% ratio. But yeah, because I did that on the first initial breaking in step, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, because that means that the piston rings may not bite into the freshly honed bores properly. But I mean, it's works fine, and I haven't been blowing too much oil, I don't think. When I do eventually throw it on like 20 pounds of boost, I'm going to need to put in a catch can, but that's pretty much a given with any boosted engine seeing high boost. But yeah, right now it's going pretty good. I've got just the breather up here, which is all right, and then I've got this one just pointing down to the ground. As you can see, it's a little bit soppy. It doesn't spurt oil out. It just, when you're idling, you can put your finger over it and you can feel a little bit of a puff, so it's nothing too bad. But yeah, apart from that, that's where the Hilux build is. I have gone ahead and bought another car, so that's going to put a bit of a hurdle on this one, because the other car needs a little bit of work on it. So, and I've got a holiday coming up over Christmas, so it's going to be a while before I can be bothered to wire in the ECU with this one, because this is going to be my daily for a little bit. But apart from that, I've got a few more things to go with this. Okay, so this is the newest member of the family. So this is a 1998 Nissan GU Patrol. It's a wagon, which means it's got all-around solid axle suspension with coils on it. So this one under here has got a 3-inch lift with King Springs, I believe. It's got 35-inch mud terrain tyres, cheap Chinese ones. And from what I know, it's got, yeah, just fuck knows how much the winch is, but yeah, it works. It's got this rock crawler bumper, which is a bit sketchy. I think I might try and get rid of it. But under the bonnet, it's an RD28T. And it's got a chip tune on it, and a throttle body delete, and a high mount top intercooler, dual battery setup, and yeah, 2 fans off an AU Falcon to keep it cool. It's got a 3-inch straight pipe, as you could hear before, and it's got about 270,000 Ks on it, 370,000 Ks on it, which isn't too bad. But yeah, all around it's pretty rough, but I mean, I got it pretty cheap, so I'm not really too fussed about that.